We were talking before the podcast about the Shroud of Turin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you
And
were...
by the way, we brought that up last time I was
Yes.
here. And that happened by accident, remember?
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of people have been talking about that since we talked about it.
Yeah. You were saying something, though, that the piece that they used for carbon dating, that this is a piece that had been repaired. But I saw there's a lot of dispute about that online.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people say that that is just some sort of apologetic excuse for why the numbers don't match up correctly. But then I've also seen things that say that the pollen that is on the fibers matches up with the exact kind of plants that existed in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, and that all aligns, and that further testing needs to be done to determine the actual date of it. That aside, there's still no explanation for why that image exists and how it was created.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anyone explain in any way that makes any sense how that could have been forged by someone, how it could have been a forgery from someone that long ago, that they could figure it out. Also, they could make it a reverse negative image. So the only way you see it is through when you look at it in a negative.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Whatever it is it's really weird.
It is totally weird. And there are people there is a guy who's a doctor of like blood, a hematologist. And he seems to have he's not religious, or he's not like, out there advocating for religion. And he just happened to study it. He studied the blood, and again, he was like, and the injuries, because he can study the injuries and identify, and they match up. And I mean, I'm not an expert on the Shroud, but believe me, every expert that's out there since I was on your podcast a few years ago they've reached out to me, and they're like, "Tell Joe to get me on," and so forth. And
do you know someone that's a real good, credible expert?
Yeah, I know someone. Well, that man, I think, has a good video out there. Check him out. I don't know his name, but you should be able to find if you do a search. Yeah.
This would be him.
New study claims blood stains on the Shroud of Turin consistent with torture of Christ.
That's not. He doesn't have an Italian name, the one I know. But I mean, that could be too. I mean, he could be out there doing that. The guy that we found, I can send you the link, but
okay.
he's an American guy, and he's just, he doesn't have a fancy video or anything like that. It's just, but there's another guy who's Catholic called, his name is Father Dalton, and this is his expertise. He knows about this. Now he's theological, but he actually does have studies and so forth.
And what is unique about his perspective?
So his perspective is that, first, you have to understand the Catholic Church is very careful about what they put what they say is true and not true. It takes them forever to say something's a miracle. And often when they identify something as being miraculous, they have a huge team of people, often who are the best at what they do, they might not be Catholic. Okay, they could be atheist and so forth. So this was studied at Duke University, the Shroud of Turin, in the 1980s. And I happen to know a priest who was a graduate student there in the PhD program, and he witnessed the whole study. So Father Dalton would be a person who is Catholic. Obviously, he is a priest. However, he is not going to say, he's going to give you the facts about each of the studies, and he's going to talk specifically about what we don't know about it, what, might be, as a Catholic, you have to say, this is not, we don't know about that. Like, yeah, you're right. It could be this or that. Same thing with the Guadalupe tilma, right? So, a lot of people say it was created by God and, put on this, about that, right? So the Guadalupe image of the Virgin of Guadalupe in Mexico City, that was said to be miraculously put. Well, there are some, things that have been added later. So I think the Shroud is like that also. But there's been a lot of studies by.
What's so interesting about this Guadalupe thing?
So this is this is a tilma, which is a cloak. This is from the 1500s. So this is an image that allegedly, according to devotional Catholicism, this image was imparted onto this cloak, and the cloak was worn by a guy. By the way, I'm not sure, but Mel Gibson's icon, I think that might be part of this. I'm not entirely sure, but so here you have something that is unexplainable. Part of it is explainable because after the image was put on, people had painted over it, 100 years later, and subsequently, just to upkeep it. I think the angel was added. A couple of things were added later, but it's not as anomalous as the Shroud of Turin.
But honestly, you're not explaining this well.
Okay.
What is unexplainable about this painting?
Okay, so this appears to be a painting, but underneath there's an image, and the image is the Virgin Mary herself, without her cloak, without the angel, and without the sun around her. And this image is allegedly had been put on this guy's cloak, Juan Diego's cloak, in the 1500s. So she wanted a basilica, which, by the way, she's in right now. And that's what she asked for. The bishop at the time said, "I don't believe you, Juan Diego. You have to show me proof." So he went back to the place where he had seen her, and she said, "Go up and get a bunch of flowers and put them in this cloak of yours, and then bring them to the bishop. They're out of season. They don't grow in Mexico." So he did. He got the flowers. He went back to the bishop in Mexico City, and he gave them to him. And when they opened it up, there was an image of the Virgin Mary on the cloak. And this is what that's supposed to be.
I still don't understand why that's unique. It's just a painting.
No one painted it. It just showed up. It was just there.
Okay, well, what's it made out of? What is the ink? What is the dye?
So all right. So this is where it gets complicated. So the original cloak is agave material. It's made out of agave.
Agave plant?
Yeah. And the original image appears to be the agave plant fibers somehow. The image was from the fibers. It's not paint. There's no drawing.
But these colors?
Okay, so the colors of the cloak around her, that's later in a later edition.
Whoa. Okay. How do we know that?
Art historians have looked at it. People they use infrared photography, and they're able to identify the layers of it.
So that the image existed originally, and then people painted over the image.
Well, they painted around it. They kind of embellished it.
So where can we see the original?
I'm looking. It's hard to get that picture because time.
That to me is not as interesting as the Shroud of Turin.
Yeah, I agree. They're both really.
Also, it's painted over already. It's it's already been sort of bastardized.
Yeah.
That's the Shroud of Turin is just weird because it's not ink.
Yeah.
It's not dye.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be some sort of like it's burned in somehow or another.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So if you got someone on here to talk about it, I would either get Father Dalton or I would get that doctor.
I would want someone to dismiss it as well. I would want two people to talk about it.
Yeah. I think that would be I'd love to see it.
Because what you're saying about the parts of the fabric that had been repaired, and that's what they did the radiocarbon dating on, I've heard that disputed online.
Okay.
Yeah, but that would be a thing that you would say if you wanted to really believe that it was more than 2,000 years old. You would say, oh, no, they got the wrong piece.
Yeah.
And also, why was it repaired? Why would someone repair it?
Well, because it's a devotional cloth for the Catholic Church, so they're going to keep it,
by adding more cloth to it?
Yeah, because it'll, disintegrate or whatnot. It's been making the rounds for a long time.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it says it was found in 1350, and they don't know how it got to where it was.
don't they? Yeah, that's right. And don't they say that that's the when they do the radiocarbon dating, it goes back to around that area. I think it goes to like the 1200s. That's where they think it came from. That's where it originated.
Yeah, so even if it did, it's still anomalous. It's still weird.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. It's weird in the sense that it wasn't painted. It's not dye. That it seems to have been created by energy. What is the conventional description for how it was made? Let's see that. Let's see what it says. What's the conventional description? Let's see. How is it made? Rectangular linen cloth, 4.4 meters long, 1.1 meters wide, bearing the faint front and back image of a bearded crucified man. Conventional description how it was made as a physical object. Material, hand-woven linen made from flax fibers, weave, thread, side strip. Okay, but what about the image? Okay. A faint sepia... Is that how you say that word?
Sepia.
Sepia. Straw yellow image shows a man with wounds consistent with crucifixion. Side wound, wounds at the wrist and feet, puncture marks around the scalp. Conventional, skeptical mainstream explanation for how the image was produced falls into a few camps. Medieval painting, pigmentation, or pigment application. Reported finding red ochre and vermilion pigments in a gelatin collagen tempera binder, concluding it was painted in the 14th century. This remains the dominant skeptical explanation. Rubbing or bas relief transfer technique. Researchers like Joel Nickel have reproduced shroud-like images by rubbing dry pigment iron oxide over a cloth laid on a bas relief sculpture, producing the same negative image, surface-only characteristic, acid, scorch, or chemical staining technique. Dating, 1988 radiocarbon test performed independently by labs at Oxford, Arizona, and Zurich, dated the flax to 1260 to 1390 CE with a 95% confidence, squarely in the medieval period, consistent with its documented appearance in Leary around 1355. Under the conventional view, this dating settles the question. It's a medieval artifact likely produced as a devotional or pilgrimage object during the period when relic veneration was a booming industry. Okay. So what they're saying is it's made with pigment, but I thought it wasn't made with pigment.
Yeah, and also that there are blood stains on it.
Actual blood?
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Right, but that's what it's supposed to be. But has anybody ever done a study, any kind of tests on that? The blood stains are real human blood applied before the image was formed.
This is what Shroud proponents
contest all the above, arguing the C4 sample came from medieval repair patch, that no reproduction fully matches the image's properties superficially of the 200 nanometer 3D encoded distance information, no brushstrokes, and that the blood stains are real human blood applied before the image formed. But the mainstream conventional description remains 14th century linen cloth with hand-produced image made in France as a religious artifact. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
The thing is, people want to believe that it's the shroud that Jesus was buried in, right?
Well, people do want to believe it, but I didn't necessarily want to believe it. Like I used to not believe it.
Do you believe it now?
Definitely. Yeah.
Why definitely?
Because of the information by the blood doctor guy, which I hate to keep calling him that. I wish I knew what his name was. And also my friend who was at the shroud analysis at Duke University, and also like what Father Dalton talks about. You know, I mean, the thing is that it looks pretty weird.
It's definitely weird.
Yeah. So I believe it, but I'm not like I can't prove that, and I'm not going to. That's why I do religious studies. By the way, I'm not a theologian. I can't say yes, you must believe this. I don't know. I believe it. That's what I can say.
Dr. John Campbell.
Yeah, I think that's him.
3 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's him.
Okay, but why do you, I still don't understand, why do you believe, if it turns out that these people are all saying the truth, that it was made with, it would dye?
Yeah, of course. Then I'll just change my perception because I have new data. I will change my theory. Like right now, I believe it's the truth.
But that data does exist, that it's made with dye.
Okay, so their dye could have been put on it. I believe that there is an image on it. There is an image on it. How did that image get there? That image. So this is the kind of thing that things could have been done with it. It was repaired. It was, it went through many hands. I mean, I am a person who knows about Catholic relics. I know what happens to them. So these are things that would be normal in the life of a relic, that they would be handled sometimes with care, sometimes with not with care. So yeah, that's my belief, Joe. Like if I get, analysis from somebody like Gary Nolan, and he does this microscopic analysis of everything and says, no, Diana, sorry, this is not, I'll be, oh, that's too bad. I really enjoyed having that belief for 10 years.
But it seems like if the radiocarbon dating was from 1988, like shouldn't we do some sort of an updated analysis of what this thing is?
Yeah, that's right.
To settle it?
Totally.
Where is it now?
I'm all for that.
That's a good question. Where is it now? Where does it live?
Is it like at the
I think it's
Vatican somewhere?
Honestly, I think it's in Turin, but I could be wrong.
Really?
Yeah, in Italy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I could be wrong though, but I think it is.
Can you look at it? You can go there and look at it?
Yeah, I think you can.
Yep.